I can't succeed. I don't know how. That's the biggest lie of the 21st century. Because if you have a goal, if you have the internet and you exist, that's literally all you need to succeed, because it's never been easier. And I'm not exaggerating. Give me the next couple of minutes and I'll show you exactly how your success is completely in your hands, because the real barrier isn't out there, it's within. Let's understand how. For the longest time, many people, including experts around the world, believed that it was impossible for a human being to run a mile under 4 minutes. We thought we were just physically incapable of doing so, that our muscle structure and our biology didn't allow us to run this fast or run as fast as the other animals. Well, not after 1954 though, because on the 6th of May, Roger Bannister ran a mile in 3 minutes and 59 seconds. He broke the record. He broke the limit of human potential, and since then, everything has changed. Our biology hasn't. It's not like when he crossed the finish line, he installed a new biological update into human beings that suddenly made us more capable of running faster. That did not happen. And yet, within a decade of him breaking the 4-minute mile, 71 other people did it too. What changed? Why did people suddenly after 1954 begin to run under 4 minutes, even though right before it we thought it was impossible? Well, the answer is simple. They saw that it was possible. Roger Bannister set that example. He didn't set out to explain how our biology changed or how our muscle structure changed. He just showed us what was possible. The world believed him. And now we have high schoolers running a mile under 4 minutes and people sitting in business schools who are studying this phenomenon, trying to understand how to make the impossible possible. And the core of it really is very, very simple. And it's this: the power of belief. Because we believed that running a mile under 4 minutes was impossible, we didn't even try. We thought that we couldn't, and we set that physical limit inside our heads. But as soon as we saw solid evidence against it, that it isn't true, that the limit actually does not exist, well, guess what happened? We changed. Our thought process changed. Our biology did not change. Our belief did, and that belief led to so many more people doing the same thing that just a decade ago was considered impossible. And that is why our success is completely in our hands. We think that it's out of our control. We think that there are so many limits outside that exist, but the truth is that your limits are merely suggestions on your potential. They are not the truth. They are not the defined limit. And if you choose, if you really choose, you can push beyond them and you can be like Roger Bannister in your field. And that is why the barrier to our success isn't what lies on the outside as a challenge, but the belief, the voice inside our head that says it isn't possible. And the stronger our belief is in it, the harder it becomes to get out, and it turns into a self-fulfilling prophecy where all we see around us is evidence that things are not possible, but we can change that. History has showed us how. There is a witty phrase often attributed to Henry Ford, and it goes like this: if I had asked people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses. And it is as laughable as it is true, because a lot of times we think that what happened in the past and what's the present will often make up the future, that all we'll get is more of the same. And that is why we are not visionaries. We don't dare to venture beyond what's possible. We stay within the confines of our reality, and while it's easy, it also doesn't allow us to innovate and really move things forward. If Bertha Benz or Henry Ford hadn't actually worked at creating carriages without horses, New York City might not exist today, because, and you'll not believe this, I know this is really laughable, but at one point in the 1880s and 1890s, the citizens of New York City were worried about an impending crisis. And what was that crisis? The Great Horse Manure Crisis. Yes, that's right. The city of New York, which is one of the most famous in the world today, was at one point facing its gravest threat from horse poop. Because the resident thought, 100 years later, when the population grows, the number of horses and carriages will also grow, and at one point, the amount of horse manure will be impossible for the city to contain. It would spill out onto the streets and it would make the city uninhabitable. Now we laugh at that today, we think that's crazy, who would even think that? But before cars existed, that is what people thought. That is what their limit, their reality was. And believe it or not, it is the same today with the technologies we are seeing, with the changes we are seeing. We often have a very big misconception, and that is we will get more of the same in the future. But the truth is, we never get more of the same. Horse carriages get replaced by cars. Technology gets replaced by AI, and a lot of these different changes where we think, oh, that's not possible, or we think, oh, that's just science fiction. Well, that might just happen. But the truth is that we have to let go of this belief and this idea that our limitations or our current reality is the only thing that will define the future. It will not. And that is where your power lies. That is where you can break out of this prophecy, break out of this limitation, and become your best self and achieve all your goals. Here is how. If you really want to succeed in today's world, the greatest skill you can master is figuring things out. When I was 14, I wrote my first book, Explore the New You. I'd never seen anyone do that before. All I had as a reference point was a community I had joined where people learned how to self-publish books, and they also did that in 30 days. So I was like, yes, I can do this and I can do this fast. But I had not seen other teenagers write a book. Did I let that stop myself though? No, because I had a greater idea. I thought, I want to explore my ideas in a book. I want to pen down what's worked for me, what's helped me grow as a person, and share that with other people. And that's the journey I went on. I had no idea about it. I didn't know how to edit. I didn't know how to format, but I learned on the job. I kept going. I kept figuring things out at each and every step. And in 50 days, I published a book. From the very raw idea to the publishing, all it took was 50 days. A week later, I was holding a world record that said I was the youngest non-fiction self-published author in the world at the age of 14 years, 2 months and 8 days. And now that I reflect back on it, the number one principle that helped me back then was being able to figure things out and go back in history, go back to any person who's done something different, who's made a world record or who's changed the world in a certain way, and you will see this pattern. This fundamental principle drives everything they do. Henry Ford figured things out. He figured out how to make cars for cheap. Bertha Benz figured out how to get a car running in the first place. She had no idea, but in 1888, she set out on a 100-kilometer journey in the Benz motor wagon, the very first car in the world, and she made it happen. It was hard, it was challenging, but she did it. And just like that, when the very first Apple computer was made, or when the very first email was sent, things were changing. People didn't know how that would work, but they were willing to figure it out. And that has defined every single change, every single revolution, and every single amount of progress that we've made in our lives individually and collectively. And that singular habit is also the key to your success, which brings me to the bold claim I made at the start of this video. The greatest lie of the 21st century is saying, I don't know how to succeed, or I can't succeed because I don't know how. And I stand by that statement. I still believe in it because for the first time in history, figuring things out has never been easier. You have access to the top class information in the world at your fingertips. 400 years ago, a child of a farmer in rural China could only dream or even think about getting a quality education. But he wouldn't have the resources, he wouldn't have the time or the money or even the boat to sail all the way across the world to Harvard or Yale and to get the study that he wanted. But today, if he has access to the internet, if he has access to YouTube, to Google, to AI tools, there's so much he can figure out without even needing to leave his room. All he needs to do is search for it, be willing to learn from it, and to implement that knowledge, to connect with the right people, to ask the right questions, to go on the right forums, and to really obsessively and with full force pursue that one goal and try to tap into as many resources as possible for it, because today the resources are in abundance. I don't know as much about resourcefulness. We still complain that growing is hard, that succeeding is hard, that becoming a new person is hard. But what's harder is staying in that comfort zone and lying to yourself and thinking that you don't have the resources even when you do, and even when you know that it is possible for you to succeed. And so that is what I want you to take away from this video. Don't let your life become the next great horse manure crisis. Don't think that what happened before will happen now and will define the future. You will not get more of the same, and your life can be drastically different from what it is now, only and only if you will go out there and try to make it happen. And if you want to make that a constant journey, if you want to get into that zone week after week, well, hit that subscribe button, join our community, get involved with this channel, and every week you will find more videos like these that help you grow and stay on track. And that begins with this one question: what is it that I want to figure out? What is it that I want to pursue? What goals matter to me? Answer that question. And if you're looking for more clarity, I made a video on that as well that you can find pinned somewhere up here. You can go watch that as well after this, and then answer these questions for yourself. Figure out what it is that you want to do, then figure out how to do it. Go ask the internet, ask the right people. Keep pursuing your goal until you get there, because today you really have it easier than your ancestors. You have access to knowledge and information. Just go out there and implement it. So let me know in the comments, what is the one goal that you want to pursue, and what is something you will be more resourceful about? I'd love to know. And if there are any ideas from my side that will help you, I'd let you know as well, and I'd be happy to be a part of your success journey. Let's begin that right now.